true health, yes empowers. It's the oxygen that fuels innovation, creates breakthroughs, and gets heads nodding. Yes isn't scared of cancer. Cancer is scared of yes. Yes is a cure for type 1 diabetes and its momentum unstoppable. At Mid-Missouri's only academic health center, we live by the word yes, and it always finds a way.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friend Monday, November the 21st. You got Mel Zelenak with us. Good to have you here, Mel.
Good seeing you.
The elections are over. We've talked about politics so much among all of us.
I'm actually developing a T-shirt on this.
Yeah. So today, Mel came in and he said, how about instead of politics talks, we talk consumer tips? So this would be a good way to break the ice over the holidays with family and friends who may not exactly agree with one another political-wise.
That's perfect. So just develop some consumer tips, or listen to some today, or pick up one of the books that I recommend. And,
yeah, okay.
And that would be a much better way to
spend the holidays.
Spend the holidays than,
right, instead of throwing turkey at each other.
Yes.
And it could get to some of that. But anyway, what are some of the important consumer tips that you have?
What I actually want to talk about initially is sharing ideas. We were talking about Thanksgiving, sharing ideas with other consumers, and everybody's a consumer. And it's amazing what information you could pick up. I pick it up all the time. Let me give you an example. I was in the ARC the other day, the rec center here in Columbia, and working out. And I have a friend there, and we visit periodically. And he mentioned to me that he doesn't pay anything to go to the ARC, that it's free. And of course, for free.
Yeah, that rang a bell right away for you.
It sure did. And he's got an insurance, and it's a supplementary insurance through his Medicare. And it's a wellness type program, and his is free. Well, lo and behold, I called the university to find out if the university is doing it, and they said, no, not at this point, but as of January 1st, they will be. So anybody in the audience, it's called the Silver Sneakers Program. And
so if you have that university supplemental insurance, it should take care of a membership in a...
To the ARC.
To the ARC.
Now, you might check the other ones in town. I know some of them do participate in the Silver Sneakers, but I would have never known that if I were talking politics to this friend of mine.
You talk consumer tips.
That. And also, Paul, actually today we returned from Manhattan, Kansas, and I gave a seminar to college-level students about some of the things we talk about here: investing, becoming a wise consumer, passive income, and so forth. And that was the idea. But I started to think on the way home, you know, I should be doing more of that at the college age level. This audience, for example, is a great audience, but most of the people, my guess is, are not at the college level, college age level. They're older. And the problem is, I've noticed, even giving tips, like my favorite tip, of course, is avoid financial planners. And invariably, I talk with people and who I know, and I'm sure many of your listeners, and because it seems so complex, they don't follow that advice. And the problem is, with a person our age, frankly, you're not going to lose a whole lot more money by staying with a financial planner now, the typical financial planner. But if you're a 20-year-old and you're going to be saving over a lifetime, you are literally going to save hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on how much you invest, obviously. But you lose as much as 60% of your money to fees that are absolutely wasted.
The thing you have to do is make sure you know what the fees are that you're paying.
Yes,
right?
and it's almost impossible to find that out, and that's one of the frustrations.
Well, if you call and ask what are the particular fees on a particular account, they will give it to you.
Okay, I'm going to submit that they're going to give you the partial fees. They're not going to give you all the fees. For example, the industry average, and we mentioned this before, is 3.17% a year in fees. So you know that's very significant. Now they may tell you what their expense fee is.
The expense ratio.
Ratio, yes. Yeah. And they may say, well, it's 1% or 1.5% or whatever. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're being charged. More likely, there's 12 or 14 fees that are added on each year. So, you know, you could easily be paying 6 times as much in this situation.
Okay. What it boils down to is you really need to do your homework.
You need to do your homework, but the neat thing is we've got this new fiduciary rule that's going to take place April 10th, 2017, and that means the person you're working with will have to be looking out for your best interest for retirement funds only.
Okay.
And keep that in mind. Now,
so April the 10th, 2017, the fiduciary rule goes into effect for retirement planning. Retirement funds only. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Now, what else have you got here? We're almost out of time here.
Okay, Paul. The other thing that I wanted to mention, other than that, is last time we talked a little bit about this airline website. It's called matrix.itasoftware.com. And I had several communications asking me to explain that a little bit more. And basically, it's just a website. It's like Expedia and so forth. But the beauty of this one is it collapses all of the fares into one quick look. So in other words, if I want to fly from Columbia to Fort Lauderdale, I could pipe that in and it will tell me the flights out of Columbia, what the prices are, the best days to fly, and it will tell me the alternate airports, Kansas City, St. Louis. If I want to expand it out,
and it'll give you all of those fares?
It'll give you all of that
within, all the different airlines?
Within less than a minute, with the exception of Southwest Airlines. And you would have to check that directly.
Yeah, but many times Southwest is lower if you take in the fact that they don't charge for baggage.
That's correct.
They still give you 2 free checked bags.
That's correct, and that was one other thing we talked about last time. And you mentioned that United has very low fees. Mm-hmm. And United is the highest in the industry.
Well, they're pretty much all the same, Mel.
No, they're not.
Was it $25 for the first checked bag? And
well, we're not only talking about baggage. We're talking about all the fees that they charge in general. United, as you can see, is the highest. They're about $26.
With all the fees?
Per passenger in 2014. Delta was second. The lowest in this group was Southwest, of course. American Airlines was fairly low on the totem pole on that one.
Okay, well, check it out. As Mel says, do your homework. That's the important thing. And if people want more information, Mel, what's their website they can contact you?
Mel's Cruises at charter.net.
Right, and he's not selling you cruises. That just happens to be his email address.
That's correct.
Mel Zelenak, retired home economics professor with the University of Missouri.
Financial planning.
Financial planning, okay, with the university. Thank you, Mel. Good to have you here.
Great seeing you again. Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you. Bye-bye.